Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellie and today's video I'm going to be talking about some summer book recs. It's been so long since I last did a book rec video and I really need to get back into them, and with it pretty much being summer, I just thought I would share some books with you that I think would be great to read during the summer. So I have some young adult, some fantasy and some romance, summer series, summer standalones, so let's get on with it. First book is Across the Line by Simone Sultani. So this is an F1 brothers best friend romance. We have Dev and Willow. So Dev is a racer in the F1 and Willow wants a job within social media, and he manages to get her a job working alongside the team, and it's forbidden. They obviously can't date because they work together, and also it's brother's best friend, and they really try to hide their attraction as they travel around the world during the Grand Prix. And I just feel like this cover gives summer vibes, like the bright colours and the fact they travel a lot throughout this. And I don't watch the F1 and I have just had to Google it that the season is from March to December, so a lot of the season does take part during the summer, and I personally just really loved this book and was able to binge it, and I think it would be a fun read if you're going on a holiday or if you just want something fun, light-hearted and a cute romance. Then we have All Roads Lead to Here by Mariana Zapata, and I don't actually know if this happens in summer. I just read this when I was on a holiday summer like 2-3 years ago, and I absolutely loved it, so it just kind of reminds me of summer because I read it then. So this is a slow burn. We have Aurora who arrives in this small town and she ends up renting like an apartment over a garage, and the love interest is her landlord, and from what I remember I think he was a single dad and he is super grumpy, and Aurora gets on with his son but he just doesn't really want her there, and she kind of finds a new life within this town. She gets a job. It was the first book by Mariana Zapata that I read, I think, and I just really loved it. It's quite chunky, and you know, all of her books are slow burns. If that's not your thing, I probably wouldn't go into this. It's set in a small mountain town, and when I think of books I want to read during the summer, it is small town romances. Next we have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This is another small town romance. So in this we follow Persephone and Sam. The story itself is told over a span of 5 years, so it goes back over the years and the current day. So Sam's mother has passed away and Persephone returns to the town for the funeral. 5 years prior, Percy and Sam, they've been friends forever I think, and they had fallen in love and something happens and they just haven't seen or spoken to each other for a long time. I know this is a super popular one, but I think it is popular for good reason. This is the first book in a series. The second one is Meet Me at the Lake, and the third one is This Summer Will Be Different. I think a lot of people have read this one by now, but if you haven't, I definitely say it's worth checking out. Then I have a whole series to recommend. So this is the summer series by Elizabeth O'Rourke. So there are 5 books. The first one is The Summer We Fell. The second is The Summer I Saved You. The third is The Summer You Found Me. Fourth is The Summer I Destroyed You, and then the fifth is The Summer I First Saw You. I have only read the first 3 and I'm gonna definitely read these 2 this summer, so I will only talk about the first 3 as I do know what happens in them. Starting off with The Summer We Fell, this is kind of a love triangle romance. I did read this last summer and I can't quite remember the order of things of this one, but we have the heroine and something happens to her and she lives with her boyfriend. I think it's when they are in high school, they're 18, and her boyfriend is basically like the perfect guy and they are happy together, and then she meets his best friend Luke and there is chemistry there, but neither of them obviously want to do anything, and from what I remember he pushes her a little bit. And this book is kind of set in the future, but there are flashbacks, and the 3 of them then return to this town, and the 3 of them are all living very different lives now, but of course being back brings up all of the memories from when they were younger, and the heroine just feels pulled between the 2 of them. I binged this, I loved it. Then the second book, The Summer You Saved Me, is a single parent romance. So we have Caleb and Lucy is a single mother, and both Caleb and Lucy have exes who have their own issues, and the two of them grow closer and get to know each other, but their exes do not want to let them be together. They're both very like possessive and protective over them, and there is a lot fighting against them being able to be together. And from what I remember of this one, Caleb was just a really sweet male main character, and it's definitely one of my favourite single parent romances that I have ever read. Then the third one, You Summer You Found Me. This is one of my all-time favourite books, so I can't really go too much into this one because you really do need to have read The Summer I Saved You before for this one to make sense, as the heroine in this one, Kate, is the ex-wife of Caleb from this book, and Beck is his best friend. So this is their story. It's forbidden because obviously best friend's ex-wife, and they end up living together and there's this obvious attraction, but because of Caleb the ex, they don't really want to get into it, and there are some very hard topics in this one, so check the triggers, but I just absolutely love this one and I will forever recommend this book. Sorry if I seem to have moved. I have this chair and it is kind of broken and it slowly moves down, and yeah, I think I slowly moved down throughout those last sections. But anyway, the next series I have to recommend is by Elle Kennedy. I'm not sure what the actual series is called, but we have Good Girl Complex, Bad Girl Reputation, and The Summer Girl. So again, these are all set in a small town. In Good Girl Complex we have Mac, and she is attending college in this small beach town where she meets Cooper. So she is, as you can tell, the good girl. She's rich, and Cooper is from like the other side of town, and he is really judgmental of anyone that attends this college. So they are complete opposites, and he just dislikes her until he gets to know her, and I thought it was really sweet. Again, I read this when I was on holiday a few years ago, and it just gives all of the summer vibes. Then Bad Girl Reputation. This is a second chance romance. So in this we follow Evan, and Evan is the twin of Cooper, who is in the first book. But in the first book we have the good girl, the second book we have the bad girl. So we have Genevieve, and she has a bit of a reputation, but she returns to this town and she wants to put that behind her and not be that girl anymore. And the two want to be together, but they are kind of different, and Genevieve finds it hard to try and stick to this new way of life when she is back around Evan, who himself has a bit of a reputation. And now I'm talking about these books, I really want to reread them this summer. Then the final one in the series is The Summer Girl. This one is the story of Cassie and Tate. So after being away for college, Cassie has returned to Avalon Bay and she just wants a fling for the summer, and this is when she meets Tate, and he puts her in the friend zone, but he realizes that actually he doesn't want to be in the friend zone. As this series goes on, you do see the other characters. They are a big part of it, so it would make sense to read these in order to get the best reading experience. On to some fantasies. We have Tress of the Emerald Sea, and this is by Brandon Sanderson. I read this for my book club last year, and it was my first Brandon Sanderson book, and I think if you are wanting to read some of his books but are intimidated, this is a great one to start, as this is a standalone set in a universe, I believe. In this we have Tress, and she lives on this little island, and something happens. She has to stow away on this ship to find the sorceress, and it's just this one big adventure. The sea in this is like spores. It's just really interesting to read about. It's just a lot of adventure in this. There's pirates, there's friendship. We also have an unreliable narrator in this one, so I think if you want something that's just kind of like a cozy fantasy but summery, this is one for you. Then we have In Deeper Waters by F.T. Lukens. This is a young adult male romance. This is one of my best friend's all-time favourite books, which she recommended to me, and I loved it. In this one we have Prince Tao, and he is out on the ship one day when Athlin comes aboard, who is a merman, and the two of them kind of have this chemistry, but then Athlin jumps overboard and Tao is left heartbroken. And then when they they reach land, Athlin suddenly shows up. Athlin is just such a super cute character. In this, the prince ends up getting kidnapped as he has some powers that these people want to prove that would destroy his family, and Athlin may be his only hope to be saved. It was just super cute and I really loved it. And the last few books are young adult. So we have 26 Kisses by Anna Michaels. In this one we follow Veda, and she gets dumped by her boyfriend, and then her friend comes up with this idea that over the summer, Veda, to get over her breakup, she should try and kiss 26 guys, one for each letter of the alphabet. And Veda really doesn't want to do it, but it pushes her out of her comfort zone and she agrees to the task, and she just makes her way through the alphabet kissing all of these different boys for the first time, and she thinks it's all just going to be a bit of fun until she meets one guy who she might be falling for. Then we have Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. In this one we have Emily and Sloane. So Sloane disappears and Emily is left alone for the summer, and until she finds this kind of bucket list that was left behind by Sloane, encouraging her to get out there and do things throughout the summer without her best friend by her side. I read this a very long time ago and I think it would still be really fun to read today. Then the final book is Escaping Perfect by Emma Harrison. In this we have Cecilia, and she is seen as America's sweetheart. She was born into a political family until she was almost kidnapped one day, and then she was sent away to this boarding school so that they would be able to keep her safe. And then one day she is given the opportunity to become someone else, so she gives herself a new name and ends up in this small town where nobody knows who she is, and she's finally kind of given the chance to live like a normal teenager. She meets this boy and she falls for him, and it's just how long can she keep up this facade of being who she is, and how long until people are going to find out. And if they do find out, is her relationship going to survive? So there are some books that I would recommend for reading this summer. Let me know what is on your summer TBR, and if you have read any of these, let me know what you thought of them. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again next week.